everyone thought that we were going to lose. There was one time we were playing club against Cal Storm, and it came up to this, the very last second. They were shooting a free throw. And then one of our teammates, Annie, she boxed out so good. She got a rebound. And one of our other teammates, her name's Audrey. She's going to Cornell.
Yeah, for basketball.
So she shot like a Hail Mary from half court, and it went in. And everyone went crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I love the San Gabriel Valley.
Welcome to the My SGV podcast.
So I grew up here and I still live in Alhambra.
I was raised in between Temple City and Alhambra.
Eventually resided in South San Gabriel.
Our mission is to capture and share the stories of the people of the San Gabriel Valley.
Monterey Park has pretty much been my whole life.
Well, I'm proud to say that I was born and raised in the San Gabriel Valley.
We believe our diversity is what makes the SGV great. And no matter where you are from in the San Gabriel Valley, you will feel welcome. All right, SGVers, welcome back to another episode of the My SGV podcast. If you are new here, we bring you the stories of the people of the San Gabriel Valley. And if you are a returning listener, thank you so much for spending this time with us. We do appreciate it. Well, so many changes here today. One, I'm in this seat, but Scott is not here. And Victoria is here, but she's not going to be my co-host today. And I'm wearing a t-shirt, so I saw all of my guests today were wearing comfortable clothes. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take off my jacket. It does get cold in here, and if you didn't know that, so that's why I wear the jacket. But I'm excited for today's show, and in considering what am I going to talk about that relates to our show. I think I've shared on this show many times basketball. Scott and I played basketball, often. We would play one-on-one twice a week, sometimes 3 times a week for an hour and a half. And that's sort of where our friendship grew from, spending that time with each other. But basketball has been a really important part of my life. I think I started when I was maybe 6 or 7, and I was terrible. I'm still terrible, but I was really terrible up until maybe 8th grade, and I didn't really enjoy it because I had so much fear of, disappointing the team and everything. But as I grew to love playing the game, then I just naturally wanted to get better on my own. And I had a lot of great experiences with basketball. I wish that it could have continued longer, but now my body is not moving the same as it used to when I was younger. So I have to sort of taper that off. But anyways, I want to get to today's guest. But before that, thank you to Paris Baguette for sponsoring this show with the delicious pastries and treats for us. If you haven't already, go check them out in the city of San Gabriel. Say hi to Jason for us, Paris Baguette. All right. Let me introduce today's guest. Today we're highlighting a true powerhouse in high school sports. A story of grit, dedication, and unyielding drive for excellence that deserves the national recognition. We're celebrating a team that has not only dominated the courts, but has done so consistently for nearly 3 decades, creating a dynasty in high school basketball. This team, from a public school, rich in diversity, predominantly Asian, has clinched an astonishing 14 straight league titles and captured their own league crown 27 out of the last 28 years. They're currently on a league winning streak of 140 games, ranking 3rd in the history of the CIF Southern Section. The program has been a launching pad for numerous Division I and professional players. It is an honor to welcome back to the show a longtime friend since 6th grade and recent program leader. Joining him are 2 standout former players who have both left their mark on this illustrious program. Please welcome, from my high school alma mater, the Keppel girls varsity head coach, Kenny Phan, along with his players, Kylie Ng and Sarah Wong. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having
Good morning,
us.
Russell. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Well, Kylie is off camera, but she'll be on camera soon after we get rid of Kenny. Because
yeah, I'm not important.
Yeah. So I'm so excited to have you all on the show, and I'm excited to get into this story. But for the listeners who don't know, you were on the show before, Kenny. And so what is your connection to the San Gabriel Valley and to this, this group here?
I grew up in Monterey Park, in the late 80s. Went to Garvey, went to Keppel High School. Played basketball since I was in 5th grade in that Morning Park Sports Club. So I grew up in all the local basketball scenery. Played in Keppel High School, so I'm an alumni. Had a very successful individual award as opposed to winning as a team. Played with the Alpine, very known Asian American team back in the 90s. So I grew up playing basketball, and when I got to an adult in college, we started Mufufu's League, an adult basketball league for the local Asian American, and it's been going for over 20 years. So it happens that my daughter stopped playing basketball. I started coaching her, and then next thing you know, I'm coaching girls basketball at Keppel High School.
Yeah, now you're the old guy on the court, right?
Exactly.
Well, before we get to the girls, which is really their story, you brought this to my attention. One, to shed light on a story that you felt like really deserved more attention, and I think you in the last show really wanted to give more attention to just the athletes in this area. Is that right?
Correct, because obviously San Gabriel Valley predominantly Asian, small Asian kids, Asian girls and boys, not known for nationally like successful athletes. But when I started coaching the girls basketball, I realized they have like a rich history of success, and no one knows about it. So this past year when I started coaching there, like one of my main goals was just give them more exposure and have people outside recognize how great this history or how great this program is. That's been going on for at least over almost 30 years. Yeah.
That's so crazy. Well, before we ask Kylie to come on the show, is there anything else you want to add before I have her come on?
I just one thing, the trend nowadays is a lot of families are going private school for many personal reasons, but also basketball reason. Well, I wanted to let the parents know Keppel education-wise is great, but we do have a great sports program at Keppel. So don't always think that private is the best way, because public school is also great. So just keep an open mind.
Have you lost players because of that thinking?
Oh, every year.
Every year. And they don't know, or they're unaware of the history of this program?
I think the history and also the trend that's been going around, parents, I guess, tend to follow their friends, and because with club ball, it's leaning towards private school. But there's a lot of great public schools out there that provide great education and also great athletes, sports program. And Keppel is a great example for girls basketball. Yeah. And also boys basketball is great too.
Well, the academics has really changed since we went there.
Yeah, a lot better. A lot better.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that Keppel was known for academics at that time.
Yeah,
right?
It's great now.
Yeah, I've heard that for some time now. Yeah. Well, Kenny, thank you for coming on and bringing them to us. But let's get Kylie onto the show. All right. So, Kylie, now welcome to the chair, actually.
Hi.
Yeah. So, the show is called the My SGV podcast. And so the listeners are from the SGV and they sort of want to know that you're one of us, right? So what is your connection to the San Gabriel Valley?
I was actually born and raised here. My family on both my mom and dad's side were refugees from Vietnam, and they immigrated here, and my mom and all her siblings were raised here too. They all went to Inez. They all went to Keppel. So, yeah.
They went to Inez?
Yes.
I went to Inez.
Oh, really?
And I went to Keppel. That's cool. Wow, okay. And what about you, Kylie?
I was born in Pasadena, but my mom and her dad actually bought this land in Monterey Park when it was just bare. And they were one of the first houses to, if you're familiar with Sequoia Park, that area, they were basically the house that was like the model for all the other houses, and it was the first house there. So my mom went to Alhambra High School, and then my dad grew up in the Chinatown area. So yeah, I've been here all my life too, and grew up playing basketball here.
Did you go to Brightwood?
Yes, I did. I went to Brightwood.
Okay. So Sequoia up on the hill, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And where, so you went to Inez?
I went to Repetto.
You went to Repetto? Yeah. Oh, we don't like you. I'm just kidding. That's like Inez rival, right?
Yeah.
Or something. So did you both grew up in this area? What was life like growing up and going to those schools?
I really liked Brightwood. I made a lot of friends that I'm still friends with now. The teachers were great. Just a good community, and I feel like the education there was really good, and it prepared me for high school.
Yeah. Okay. And what about you?
Going to Repetto, it was a lot different than Keppel right now. I guess growing up, my friend group was more diverse, as in like more of my friends didn't play basketball, and like not just a racial standpoint, but like all my friends were from different areas. And going to Keppel, I guess my group just like got smaller and more of just like basketball players. Yeah.
Keppel sort of does that to you, right? Like when you're a basketball, like everything's
Sure.
basketball.
Yeah.
So where did basketball come into the picture for you?
I started, I think, 2nd or 3rd grade.
2nd or 3rd grade?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And I think some of my friends from kindergarten, they were already like playing JO, and they wanted to start a club team for SGV, and they needed more players, so they were like, hey, you want to try? So I just tried it out, and I guess I just stuck with it ever since.
Had you played any other sports other than basketball growing up?
I did like ballet, and I did swimming for a little bit, but that was just for like physical therapy for my knee.
And did you like it right away?
I did. It was an instant connection, I guess.
And did you find your like growth in this sport to be linear, or were you like me, like terrible for a long time?
I was pretty bad until like the 7th grade, and then I switched teams to the better team, and then it kind of peaked from there.
What did you enjoy about the game at that age?
Just like that all my friends were there. That's where I made most of my friends. They were like my second family. And basketball, it taught me a lot of things, not just basketball, like leadership, like time management, because most of my time was spent with basketball. So, yeah.
When did you start playing?
I started in kindergarten, so I was one of the friends that was playing JAO. I played with Tigers, and I think in 1st or 2nd grade, I also played SGV, so I knew Sarah since like the 1st grade. We just played on different teams for the longest time. But yeah, before basketball, I did Taekwondo. I also did like hip hop, ballet. Just like my mom put me in so many things, but I think basketball was the one thing that just stayed with me throughout elementary, middle school, and then high school.
Was it also because of the friendships?
Yes, it was the friendships, and I think it was also kind of like a distraction from things that may not have been going like good for me like at the time, and it just was an escape from like even like homework sometimes or school or drama. I could just escape to basketball because it was that constant that was always there in my life.
Did you always work hard at basketball, or did that come later on?
My mom definitely forced me to work hard at first, but I think after a while, I wanted it for myself. And, you know, when you're doing all these practices, you see like the work is paying off. And then finally it's like, I want it for myself. And it's kind of that self-motivation that got me from like, kind of like sucking being a bench player to a starter at Keppel.
So what was it like playing in the J Leagues?
Oh, it was like so different from club. Like the J Leagues, I just thought it was so fun. It wasn't serious.
Yeah.
Mostly like social.
Yeah.
We were rivals.
We
played
were.
on 2 different
I was on
teams.
Mustangs.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like we went from club like in the morning. It was so serious. We were getting yelled at constantly. And then in the afternoon we went to go play for Asian ball, and it was like so fun. It wasn't serious at all.
For those who don't know what club is, can you describe that?
Yeah, club is basically a very competitive version of basketball. Like most people play club now for exposure, potentially to get like college offers or scholarships. I feel like club has definitely evolved, especially with the use of social media. Everything's on social media now, so like highlight clips or like pictures. I think it's mostly like evolved to something that's just on social media now, like not really for you, but just to be put out there.
And it sounds like most of your friend groups came from these teams.
Yes.
Yeah. And with like 2 teams or even just one club team, that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
We were actually on like multiple at a time.
No, it was crazy. Yeah.
There were times where we would be playing in like one tournament with like 2 or 3 different teams.
Yeah.
So is this unique to you as individuals, or would you say that a lot of your friends and teammates were doing the same thing?
A lot of them were
Yeah.
doing pretty much the same thing.
I feel like it's a lot more common now for one person to be playing on like 3 different teams just to like play.
And what was that like for you?
I mean, I feel like it wasn't really different because, like, even though they were different teams, most of the players we were all on the same team.
Yeah, it's like the same people.
We were the
playing.
same people under a different team name.
Huh. And so for club ball, you said you were getting yelled at
Yes, like every second of the game.
during practices and the game.
Yeah.
Pretty
And
much.
what was your the J League coach like?
Oh,
He was so chill.
Yep.
Like, just sitting there, like, just telling us to
Encouraging.
do whatever.
What style do you guys like or perform better with?
I actually perform better under pressure and, like, with people yelling at me on my back. Because if, like, no one's yelling at me, then I'm just not going to care. I'm just going to, like, do whatever.
I think it definitely depends on the situation. I feel like for club, since the teams are just more competitive, it would make sense for a coach to be yelling at you and like pushing you to be better. Whereas J Leagues were like really like for the friendship more. So if I was getting yelled at in a J League game, I'd be like, oh, you need to chill out. Like, this is for fun. Yeah.
Okay. And so talk about like when did you girls know that you were going to go to Keppel? And did you know about the program there before you went?
Like, I knew I was going to go to Keppel since I was little, but I didn't really think about basketball until, like, maybe the 7th grade. Most of the people from our club team go to Keppel. Our coach from club actually was, like, an assistant coach, kind of. So, like, the plays that we played did at Keppel were the same as the club team plays. Like, the defense was the same. It was, like, the same team, but, like, different, I guess.
Yeah, and then when we were all younger, we would go watch Keppel play in like the CIF games. So we knew of like Lauren Saiki or Patricia Chung and just like good players that came from SGV, like the club we played in. So just watching them play and then seeing like, oh, we're eventually going to be in their shoes, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, can you talk about that? Because like that's an interesting experience. Like I never would have imagined going to watch, the high school that I was going to go to, but what was that like? And because you're seeing Asian players, mostly
Yeah.
Asian players play, right? What was that like for you?
It was like, oh, like we could do it. Like I didn't really think of stereotypes at the time, but then after COVID happened, it was just like Asians were just being targeted for no reason. And it was just kind of like inspiring, and also it was like I looked to them as role models, seeing like if they could do it, like I could also do it, and hopefully I could be a role model to younger generations in the future.
Yeah, like growing up, like race was not brought to my attention at all. Like they were just basketball players. So they were definitely role models. Like they were just basketball players to me. They weren't really different than anyone else.
So when you girls arrived at Keppel, was it already known that you're going to like be on the team? Were you fearful like you had to try out? Like what was that whole experience like?
We still had to try out, but I think like we kind of knew that we would probably be put on the team. It was also COVID year, so it was like tryouts were outside. It was just terrible. And like when our season got pushed back so much, so we were playing in like May still for league. It was like kind of crazy.
Oh, so your first year was 2019, 2020?
2020, 21.
2021.
Yeah.
Wow. So when did you have your first like normal season, or did you?
It was for our freshman year. It was all in distance learning, and we only had 11 games in that season.
Yeah,
and then the next season was more normal.
Wow. So can you talk about like coming to a program like this, which I was like, amazed at the stats still. Like I can't believe it. Was that told to you in a way that like now the weight of it is all on your shoulders and you have to carry this torch forward?
I think so.
Yeah, the league games especially. Everyone before us was like, you can't lose the streak.
Oh yeah, what was that like? So tell me about that. Was there any ever close calls?
I think it's always against Bell Garden. When we play at
Yeah.
Bell Gardens is a really hard gym to like play at for some reason. I don't know why.
We start off so slow.
I think we were losing at halftime, and then like we got yelled at so much, like, and then we just snapped back into it.
So you guys are hardly ever behind then, it sounds like.
No.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, so you never had a close game?
Mm-mm.
Wow. What is that like?
I think Almont League is it's like a time for us to like just build on our skills and like kind of like rest time, because like this season we had a really tough preseason schedule. Like we were playing teams like Sierra Canyon.
Yeah, jeez.
Like it was so crazy, but it gave us time to like rest and recover, especially with like our team. We had so many injuries this season, so it just gave us time to rest and like perfect our craft before CIF.
That is so strange. Like they're like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna rest during week. Not even that difficult, huh? Wow. Did you get matched up against some pretty tough teams preseason?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Our very first game.
It was against Sierra Canyon.
It was against Sierra
Oh my
Canyon. I
gosh.
think we lost by like 40 or 50. Yeah. We got clipped.
Yeah.
The number one.
It was like all over Instagram, especially because we were their first game too.
The first
Oh,
game.
man.
All the cameras were there, and I was like, oh my gosh, don't break my ankles.
40 or 50?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
They ran that. They kept running the score up like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. Wow. I don't remember if it was Gerback or one of my coaches. Like they put us in a tournament, and I was like looking at the program. I was like, oh, 6'7", 6'8", 6'5". I was like, is this right? And then I saw them come in, and like from the tip, there was like a dunk, and I was like, okay, this is this is crazy. This is not even in our league, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much the same.
6'1" girls.
They were like driving baseline, dunking, and I was like, just watching. I was like, this is crazy. But those are all to like get you ready, right? Like,
Yeah, it definitely prepared us. I think starting off with the hard game, like Coach Kenny was saying, like we're competing against these teams now. So when it comes to CIF and later games, it's like we could do it. Like just because we lost by the number 1 team doesn't mean we can't compete with the number 10 or the number 15. Like we are still capable of competing.
do you have an awareness of like what it means to represent like not only the school but you're Asian and you're smaller, and what like the basketball world thinks of like players like that?
I think Keppel has always been known for like having short guards and shooters that are quick and can double team on the press. I think it's just being able to like live up to that, because we're never going to be the tallest or the biggest players. We're always going to be playing against bigger players. Like I play forward. I'm 5'4". I'm always matched up against like these 5'10" girls. So we just living up to like the expectation of always being so quick and shooters.
So what is it like, or what was it like for you as a basketball player at Keppel with this whole weight and also being a student? Like what was it like on campus, with teachers and fellow students?
I think like for the most part, Keppel doesn't really have like a social hierarchy, I'd say. Basketball players mostly just like stay to themselves, but the teachers like really are supportive of like our games and like coming out to watch and telling us like you played an amazing game. Even the faculty and staff are really supportive of us and like will tell us like you had a good game or good luck, and I think that's a good community to be around.
I'm still baffled that you guys never had a close game in league. But is there a story? Like, how many buzzer beaters do you guys have in your career? Any?
Buzzer beaters?
None?
I don't think. No,
Not from us.
Yeah, not from us.
Any stories like that from your teams, from your
Yes.
experience?
And there was one time we were playing club against Cal Storm. Like everyone thought that we were gonna lose, and it came up to this like the very last second. They were shooting a free throw, and then one of our teammates, Annie, she boxed out so good. She got a rebound, and one of our other teammates, her name's Audrey. She's going to Cornell.
Yeah, for basketball.
So she shot like a Hail Mary from half court, and it went in. And it was everyone went crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I asked that because like if you're a basketball player, you remember all the if you ever had that, right? I shared this story on the show before, but Coach here, I think I was a sophomore, and it was our homecoming, and so the old gym at Keppel packed. Like you couldn't there was no room in there, right? And we were playing Sure, and I think we're down 2. It's like packed. The whole gym is like and in that gym the fans are like side by side, right? Like there's nothing dividing them, right? And so they stole the ball and they're on a break, and one of my friends and his teammate Johan like sprints back on the fast break and gets in front and gets a charge. Right? Like why they didn't run out the clock, I don't know. Right? And so like the whole crowd is going crazy, right? And so we're taking out from the other end, and they inbounded to Kenny, and Kenny like I think he like underhanded, right? From like the free throw line. And it was like slow motion, and I was like watching it with it. There was like nacho cheese everywhere, like drinks. I was like, oh my god, it was so crazy.
Dang.
Was it
Half-court shot underhand?
Nobody remembers Johan.
It's just,
and he's still like upset to this day. He's like, he's like, no, we would have lost if I didn't get that charge. But I just want to share that story with you. If you haven't heard it already about Coach. But so, and in the 4 years, what was it like in playoffs for you girls?
Our freshman season was like, we didn't really get preparation that we needed. So going into our first CIF game, we were also a very young team. I think, was it 5 starters?
there were 4 freshmen starters.
4 freshman starters.
And 1 sophomore, I think.
So we were young.
Wow.
Yeah. And so we didn't really have the experience we needed. And then next year's a little better. We got to second round. It still wasn't the best season, I guess. Still a young team. We were only sophomores and then a few juniors. And then I think our junior and senior seasons were the best for CIF. We started playing together. We started meshing better, I guess. And we went pretty far. We were fortunate to go far.
I think we also took it a little bit more seriously. Yeah. Like the previous years, all those teams that we lost to, we were like, oh, we're going to beat them. And then we didn't really take it seriously. We didn't prepare. We just went into the game thinking we were going to just take it chill and we would still win. So I think just being more mature and taking it more seriously and knowing what's on the line, we were able to like come together and win.
You're a 5'4" forward. And what do you play?
I'm point guard and I'm 5'3".
Okay. So I won't ask you to describe your own skills, but can you describe her game?
She is feisty. When I tell you, like, she will, she's an amazing hustler, plays good defense, is strong. She'll drive. Yeah. Good player.
Feisty. So she's
feisty.
like the muscle, huh? Like she'll go give a hard foul.
Wait, I have to tell this one story because it's so funny. Okay, so we were at a tournament and Coach Kenny's telling Sarah not to shoot the ball. And Sarah shoots it, she makes it, and she looks at Kenny in the eye. And that was so funny to me.
I didn't even realize I did it until like people were like told me, and I was like, I did that?
Yeah, we watched the film. It was so funny.
He's screaming like, don't shoot, don't shoot.
I think he wanted me to drive in because I had a wide open lane. But I just shot it, and it went in.
Yeah, stared him down.
Okay, so feisty, the enforcer. So can you describe her game?
Oh, she can do everything. Like, she can stop pretty much anyone on defense. She's our #1 defender, I think. And her ball handling skills are crazy. She, like, does these crazy runners, and I don't know how they go in sometimes, but, yeah, she can shoot. She just scores on all 3 levels.
And do you have a story from a game?
I don't think so.
That's okay. So, are you girls leaders on your team?
She's captain.
Yeah, I was captain or co-captain my sophomore year, and then junior and senior year I was also captain. And yeah, I think it took me a while to get out of my shell to like start getting on my teammates and start being a voice. But I think that also came with maturity, and I think my senior year was like the one where I was like, oh, I need to step up. Like, if we want to go far this season, like, yeah, coach could only do so much, but it's also up to me to bring the team together and make sure it's like the CIF ring was a goal for all of us and not just me.
What are the characteristics of a good leader to you?
I think being encouraging, and also like gaining everyone's trust. Like, yeah, you could be good, but no one's going to respect you if you act like you're better than everyone else. And I think like just communicating and showing your teammates that you're going to be there for them, even if like we aren't on the best of terms out off the court, just being there for them on the court, supporting them, pushing them, doing whatever it takes, you know, to make sure they're in a good state of mind, just collectively so we could be a good team.
Where did you learn all that?
My mom and dad, for the most part, they're a big part of enforcing those character traits, and I think it's just developed over time with basketball and then learning things from different people and different coaches.
Before we go on to the show, we ask each guest to bring an item with them. I didn't get a chance to ask you girls, but I'm so glad that you did. What did you guys bring with you?
I brought this bear. So my dad, he passed away 2 years ago, like the summer before my junior year. And before we started school, my brother got me this. And when you build a Build-A-Bear, you have to like put a sound in the hand. So when you like squeeze it, like a sound will play. So he actually put a recording of my dad's voice in.
Oh, wow. Can we hear it?
I don't know. There's one of him like snoring and one of him singing a nursery rhyme, I think. So, oh, it's not playing, but.
Oh, maybe it ran out of battery.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, that's so cool. Thank you for bringing that in. Can I ask how he passed?
He had lung cancer.
Oh, that must have been challenging for you.
I think it was challenging at the beginning, but it helped me build character and like become stronger and more independent. I've always been independent when I was younger, but I just think like having to grow up faster.
Did you get to see how good a player you are? Yeah.
He went to every single game. He recorded everything.
Wow, that's really special, you know. As a person who, like, you know, my mom went to one game and I was like looking at the stands, you know, like waiting for her. Like, that's really, really special. Yeah. And, you know, Coach, his family never went to one game.
Dang.
I think they went to our CIF games this season, right?
Oh, yeah.
But to watch him play, though, they never went. Yeah. So that's really special. Thank you for sharing that. Kylie?
I don't want to be sad or anything, but my dad also died when I was 8 years old. So basically, this is my first grade like math mastery test. Like there was 15 tests, and I was on the last one. And I remember my dad telling me like, "Oh, you're not gonna pass." And I think at the time I didn't know he was using reverse psychology, but I was like, you know, I'm gonna prove him wrong. I'm gonna show him that I could pass, and I ended up passing that day, and I got this trophy. So I think it's just like a lesson and a reminder is like everyone who says like you can't do something, like just prove them wrong.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. Can I also ask how did your dad pass?
He died from liver cancer.
Wow. So neither of you had your fathers now, but you for a little bit longer.
Yeah. I think because I was so young, it didn't initially hit me at first. I just kind of like thought like, oh, he's just gonna like come back. But then after a while, like I had to mature a lot faster, and I think that's part of the reason why I'm like so stubborn sometimes and hard-headed. I built up like a lot of walls just because, you know, like losing someone like that, and it took me a while for me to like get out of my shell and like come out of it. But yeah, I feel like I had to mature a lot faster than everyone else around me. And it was hard at first because I was like, how come other people don't understand things that I understand? And I think my mom had to explain to me a lot that it just comes with like the experience I had to go through at such a young age.
That's still going to be with you, like,
Yeah.
you know, for some time. I can't imagine what that's like for both of you, you know, just the experience of going through just life, really, not even basketball, but just life like in high school and whatnot. I want to get back to your story of Keppel and playing basketball, but let's take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Sometimes, even the best of us can slip up. That's why the law offices of Scott Wormuth are here to pick you back up again.
And while they strive to get you the biggest compensation possible, oh my gosh!
Their main concern is your health and recovery. They work closely with doctors and insurance companies to make sure you get the proper medical treatment.
Initial consultations are free, so give them a call.
At the law offices of Scott Warmouth, we're with you all the way.
I'm Scott Warmouth. We've been fighting for your rights for more than 40 years.
All right, we're back with Sarah and Kylie. Before the break, you shared your stories and your items that you brought with us. And, you know, I lost my father in 2020, right? And I didn't get to see him for a long time before he passed. And, you know, I'm sorry that you guys didn't have more time. And for the listeners out there, if you do have that time with your parents, if you're still connected with them, treasure that. Okay, well, back to the show. And when we come back from break, we like to ask questions from this deck of cards called Icebreakers. They're like super deep and penetrating. And, you know, you guys are going to have to reveal all the secrets, okay? Right. Just kidding. No, they're super light and they're just like another way for the listener to get to know us. Okay. So you can choose to answer or not. Here we go. If you could have any superpower, what would you choose?
I think time travel, just so I could like go back and relive my best memories and yeah, more time with my dad.
I don't know. Probably time travel too. Go back and like maybe not fix all the mistakes that I've taken because they like built my character to what it is today. But maybe just like, yeah, relive my memories and have a little bit more fun before we go off to college, I guess.
Awesome. Well, without getting too deep, like I thought about that. I was like, oh, you know, I don't want to mess up the space-time continuum and like throw everything off. Yeah. So I'm just going to go with fly. Because I used to have dreams of flying and it actually always started off with jumping. I would always have this like weird dream. Like I think it was real and I would jump and I was like, oh, I can jump pretty high. And I would try to jump again. I was like, oh, like I'm jumping really high. And I would get so excited because I would want to dunk, right? And I would just keep jumping. And then eventually I would jump like over like a house and then over like cities. And every time I woke up, I was like, oh, it's not true. But yeah, I would love to fly, like just to be able to just like take off. So anyways, if you're listening or watching online, if you could have any superpower, what would you choose? Let us know. So back to you. What was it like being a student athlete with, you know, all the time that's needed for basketball? Because if you don't know, like I'm assuming it's like this. Playing basketball at Keppel is not like a one season thing.
No, yes, all seasons.
So talk about that.
It was a lot of late nights. Like after practice, coming home, I tell my mom like I need caffeine so I could stay up and do homework. And some nights I'd be up to like 2 a.m, and then you know just have to start my day all over again. But yeah.
Wow.
It definitely helped me learn time management because Keppel, I guess, we get a lot of like work to do. Yeah. Especially with like certain teachers and subjects, especially if you're taking like honors or AP classes. So just learning how to manage all your time because, like she says, we only have like 30 minutes between after school and practice. And then most of the time, sometimes we'll stay after to like shoot or so we get home late by the time we like eat dinner and stuff. It's pretty late, so we need to stay up later to do homework.
What are your thoughts on homework?
I don't like it.
It's not really necessary.
Yeah. Especially calc homework. I do not like calc.
Oh, don't get me started.
I asked that because like there's so much information that I feel like I was forced to learn and cram and study for, and then like it's gone like instantly when I finish the test, and I'm like, when did I spend so much time with that? Yeah. And the truth is, like now, like you know how much of that I use?
Not like 0.
So you know that's not a knock on the entire educational system, but I'm like, you know, why can't I pursue the things that I'm like really interested in?
Yeah.
So what sort of things are you two interested in outside of basketball?
I was like really into poetry for some reason. Like whenever I had a bunch of like thoughts or emotions, I just start writing it out. I think that was also an outlet other than basketball. And I should just go into my journal, just write all my emotions, all my anger, all of my frustrations, and I just let it out that way. And I also like sports photography and doing puzzles.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. I think growing up, I used to also play piano. And the goal was to finish level 10, which is the highest level. But basketball took away from that. I couldn't really finish. Like, when I was doing piano, I was like, I hated it. Like, just growing up, having to practice every day. But then, like, after, like, I stopped, I looked back and I was like, dang, I actually miss playing the piano. So, like, sometimes, like, when I have nothing to do, I'll just go and start playing.
I know that I've been fortunate to experience a lot of things that I wouldn't have otherwise through basketball. What sort of things like that have you guys gotten to experience in your lives?
I think just traveling to some places that we would have never traveled to before. Because club, we traveled to not that many places, but we still were able to travel. We didn't get that much time to travel in high school, but just like branching out and seeing places we would have never seen.
I think definitely the friendships. I've made so many friends from basketball that I'm still friends with to this day from kindergarten. And I think just, yeah, the friendships.
When your club team walked into a gym, did people know who you are and they feared you?
I think they knew the name of SGV just because it had so much success in the past, but not specifically like our team, because we're just like little Asian girls in the court, yeah.
I think for us, not really many people knew us unless they played against us before. But the team before us was so good.
Yeah.
A lot of people, like, they knew who they were.
Like, they were just like, oh, they're so good.
They were good.
Did you girls listen to Coach's podcast?
Yes. We saw it.
So, like, when they would walk in, it was like that.
Yeah.
You know? I was like, oh, there they are. And the whole gym knew, though, too. The whole gym was like, oh, they're going to win. So, are you girls still playing basketball now? Like, what's the plan for basketball in your future?
I think it's pretty much over for me. Like, maybe some rec leagues, intramural, but I don't think my body can really handle, like, playing serious basketball anymore. I tore both of my ACLs.
Oh.
And right now I'm, like, going to the doctor because I think I tore my MCL.
Yeah. How did you do that?
The first time was 8th grade. We were actually in San Diego. I was doing a Euro step. And then, like, my knee twisted. And then the second time, I was diving for the ball. And I think the girl dove into me. I was actually pretty fortunate because when I tore it in 8th grade, it was right before COVID started. So, like, basketball all just stopped. So it gave me time to, like, recover.
Those are some pretty serious injuries. Wow. And what about you?
For the longest time, I didn't know if I wanted to play college basketball. And then I started getting, like, interest just from, like, D3s and then a few community colleges. But then I ended up deciding that I wanted to go to UC San Diego just for bio. And I feel like even if I tried to walk on to that team, it'd be hard to manage, like, bio as a major and then basketball as well. But I also do, like, rec or intramurals. And then there's also, like, a Nikkei League. That's part of, like, all these, like, colleges. It's, like, an Asian league kind of for colleges.
And you play in that?
I'll probably play in that.
When you play, like, in pickup or rec, or do you guys play pickup? Probably you're not playing pickup.
Sometimes, once in a while, yeah, I'll play.
So do you surprise people?
I think when I was younger, when I was, like, a freshman, I'd do more, like, pickup games. And people who didn't really, like, know girls basketball or, like, Asians in general would be like, oh, like, she's pretty good. And I think, like, it's good to hear that, you know, because I feel like a lot of the times I found I was comparing myself to, like, really good, like, athletic players, and then when you see people saying that about you, it just makes you feel better about yourself.
Do
you girls follow, like, college or pro?
Yes.
Kind of.
Are there people or players that you girls look up to?
Caitlin Chen, who's she played SGV, so we knew of her, like, a long time ago. And then there's also Ashley Chia, who goes to Princeton. But Caitlin, who's now going to UConn, which is, like, crazy because she's from this area. And it's like, wow, like, she made it far. It's cool to see.
And you knew her?
Yeah, like,
you played with her?
I was fortunate to, like, practice with her once in a while, just because, like, SGV had, like, things called intensity, is just, like, workouts. And then, I got to train with her, and then I was able to, like, train with people like Lauren Psyche, who's playing international now, and Sophia Song, they all just came from SGV, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What is the like mental preparation for you girls going into, like, let's say practice? Like, do you always take it serious, or
You just hope we don't run. It's like, make sure you don't eat that much, or else you'll throw up during practice.
Yeah, going into practice, like I try to be positive, make the vibes like good, but sometimes like practices were so like I don't want to be here. Like I think it was just like on and off, but for the most part, I'd say we were pretty serious.
I just want to, like, for the listener, or for people who don't really know about basketball at this level, I think a lot of players maybe try out and they're like, oh, basketball might be fun, right? Like I played basketball a little bit. I know how to shoot, right? And even if that's true, and they're like, oh, they're pretty good, they're still coming at a level that's like not even close to what you girls start at basketball, right? Like going into high school. It's like, that's why it's not even fair, really. Like your level of prep and practice is just completely different, right? Probably even in league, you're playing against girls like who just started playing.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. What is that like? I mean, are they looking at you like, what the heck is this?
I think they just go into the games knowing that they're gonna lose already. But at the same time, playing against players that don't really know how to play organized basketball, it can get out of control. Like just playing against those type of players, it can cause injuries too. Like
they're underneath you when you jump.
Yeah, like they don't really understand how to play or like how to move.
Wow. You said your mom went to all your games? Is that right?
Well, for the most part, she went to my games, but I also have a brother that plays basketball too. So he's in like club, and then he's playing high school now. So it'd be hard for her to like try to come from game to game, but like when she could, she would be going to my brother's game in Torrance and then coming to my game like somewhere else. So she's just like really supportive, like me trying to go to my game, trying to go to my brother's game.
Yeah, my dad went to all my games, and then junior year no one showed up because I didn't play, but my mom came to all my senior games because before, my siblings, they're in competitive swim, so they would have meets like almost every weekend. Like I have basketball, so they would have to split up.
Can you talk about what that was like to have your mom and your dad go to your games?
It was kind of like stressful when I was younger, but I loved that they were there to support me because my mom, she was totally against me playing basketball.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
She just always thought basketball was like a boy sport, and she just thought I should do something more girly, I guess. So.
More girly? What? And how did you, at that age, like resist that?
I don't really know. My dad just went to all my games, so I didn't really think about it. But like just growing up, I could see where she came from, which is because I got so many injuries. She like wanted me to avoid that at all costs because in the long term, it's gonna affect me.
And what about you, Kylie?
At first, I kind of was like, she always would yell at me so much when I was younger, and it's like, I don't want you to come to my games anymore. But after a while, like, she realized as I was getting older, I knew, like, when I played bad or when I played good. And so she started to, like, lay off. And I think then her coming to my games is, like, she cares and, like, she's showing her support. And she gets mad at me, but that's only because, like, she sees my potential and she wants me to be better. So it just meant a lot that I was fortunate to have, like, the support and for her to want to come to my games.
Okay. So I'm going to ask a whole bunch of, like, game and team related questions for both of you. So who is the best defender you ever played with?
Kylie.
The best defender? I don't know. I feel like...
You're like me. It's me. I play with myself.
I think I think like depends on like our rotations and stuff. Like if there's good help defense, like Sarah did hell of a good defense that South Pass game.
That's like the political answer there, like a politician's answer. You want to answer. That's okay. Okay, what about the best offensive like scorer, like pure scorer you ever played with?
Audrey, maybe Dylan, Annie. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much the same.
Same people?
Yeah.
Okay. What's a moment from a game that you wish you could do over?
We were actually just talking about this on our way here. I think our state game this like past season, we had like a pretty good lead and then we just like lost it. We weren't getting back on defense. Sloppy rotation. I think if we just picked it up, we could have potentially like made it to Sacramento to win the finals.
Just to think about it, we were not playing our best at the beginning of the game,
no.
but we were still leading by like double digits. That just goes to show like how good we were, but like at our best at our worst we were still winning. And I think just having to go back to just taking it seriously. I just think we went into the game thinking we were gonna win. Like watching film is very misleading.
Like you think one player can't shoot, the next thing you know they're hitting like 3 threes.
Their whole team is shooting and making everything.
What's an embarrassing moment from a game?
I think just the whole Sierra Canyon game. Like if you just search up like Sierra Canyon versus
Don't search it
Keppel.
up.
Don't search it up, please. But like you can just see everyone like getting blocked, everyone getting like scored on, getting crossed up. It was kind of, it hurt my ego a little bit.
Yeah. I think like anytime just going up for a wide open layup and missing it is just embarrassing.
Have you done that?
Multiple times.
Like on a breakaway?
Yeah, it's so embarrassing.
Like it starts going in your mind like once you steal the ball, right?
Don't miss it.
Okay. And so you kind of answer more for a team rather than individual, right? And I get that. But I want to know like what is your most memorable like personal basketball moment?
I think when it was the South Pasadena game for quarterfinals this season, just being able to make plays. Like one of their biggest players, she was guarding me, I was guarding her. Just being able to kind of like stop her from scoring and like get her to foul me. Like I drove in like multiple times and I got her to have 3 fouls before halftime. So I think that was like the biggest for me.
How big was she?
Just tall.
Like 6'4".
6'4". Oh.
She's crazy tall. Yeah.
She's tall.
Wow, okay. Yeah. Cool.
I think my freshman year, not more so like in the game, but I think the accomplishment that came after it, like I was fortunate to be given MVP as a freshman, which was like a big deal for me because that COVID year I was just like working my butt off because in 7th grade I was so bad. Like I was actually terrible. And I think COVID year was a blessing in disguise because I was just able to work on my skills, like get in shape, and then it paid off that freshman year. So I think that's just my biggest accomplishment.
Okay.
I think this year's better.
Oh, yeah. And then this year.
She won Almont League MVP, All San Gabriel Valley first team, All CIF Southern Section first team, and All State second team, and All CIF Student Athlete of the Year.
Wow. Congratulations. That's
you.
a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
This year.
Do you get recognized for all of that, or like is it just, the people in your small circle?
Well, it gets like posted on like these websites, and then Kenny posted it on her Instagram. So like the followers and then people who look at those websites see that. Yeah, it felt good because my sophomore and junior year, it was kind of like where I plateaued, I'd say, and then Kenny really helped me get back to like loving basketball again, and it also paid off this senior year. So I was fortunate to have a good coach, good support system.
Does your mom know how good you are?
I think it's not knowing how good I am. It's like her knowing how hard I work and like just seeing it pay off for me. Because at first, like, she would get mad, like, oh, you're not scoring enough or you're not doing this enough. But then I think after I explained to her there's more to than just scoring. There's like assists, rebounds, stealing, playing good defense, and helping the team in other ways that many people don't think of as good. And I think after she realized that, she was just proud that I was able to realize that myself and realize that for the team, and then it paying off.
Wow. That's so awesome. And those things can never be taken from you.
Yeah.
You know? Wow. What an incredible story. What would you girls say to the next generation of players coming up, you know, who may look ahead at either the difficulty of schedule, the time, or the work, or the weight of, you know, this dynasty, if you will, on their shoulders? What do you have to say to them?
I guess just don't take it for granted. Like, when you're going through it, it may seem a lot, but after it's all like taken away from you, like you're gonna miss it so much. Like, I miss playing basketball so much. Like, no matter how much I complained about having to like go to practice or waking up early for games, you're never gonna have that again.
I think I would say is, if you don't like love it, then it's probably not the best thing for you, because then you could take your passion somewhere else. But if you do love it, just stick with it. And even though there's going to be ups and downs, it's worth it in the end. And just don't be afraid to compete, especially with people that are better than you. I think that's how you get better. And as far as like the scheduling goes, I mean, that's basketball. That's really any sport or whatever you're doing. There's going to be a tough schedule. You just have to deal with it.
Thank you both for sharing that. Those are really wise words, and I can see how you both will go into the next chapter of your lives with this, you know, edge and this, you know, confidence from the experience that, you know, many people may not have, right? Or they're going to be tested later on to see what they're made of, and you girls are like, that's nothing. Because honestly, like, you know, enduring something like that is going to just strengthen you. In addition to both of your fathers, like those kinds of experiences are just going to make you so much tougher. So thank you for sharing that. I have so many stories to share with you, but this is more about you. So I can share those after the show. We're going to get to learn what you girls like in the San Gabriel Valley. So this is what we call the SGV3, and we get to learn your 3 favorite or most memorable places or experiences in the San Gabriel Valley. So let's start with Kylie. Kylie, what's your number 1?
My number 1 place is probably memorable place is San Gabriel High School, just because like we spent so many hours there for SGV and intensity. Like, we would have practice from 2 to 4, and then from 4 to 8 it'd be like workouts. And I think we'd like spend our whole like weekends there, Saturdays and Sundays.
You would go from, what did you say? 2 to 4 and then 4 to 8?
Yeah.
What? Is there like a break in between there?
I mean, like, we would just go, like, one of our parents would bring like tacos or like Spam Musubis and just eat that really quick and then back to practice.
What?
Yeah.
And Sundays? Saturday and Sunday?
It's pretty much both days. And then like there were summer camps for intensity. It was like 3 weeks.
What?
It's like 4 to 8 every weekend, or like every day for 3 weeks.
What?
Yeah, we lived at San Gabriel High School.
That's
the
intense.
The only day we had off was like Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Okay. So San Gabriel High School.
Yes.
Awesome. And what's number 2?
Mandarin Noodle. My dad would take me there all the time. Like, that was his go-to place, and the beef noodle soup there is so good. I like that's what I get every single time I go there.
Do you see Denny?
I don't know.
He's the owner. He's like the younger guy.
I think I see him once in a while, but I don't know if it's his. I see Raymond.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. But he works there now. I just saw him recently. But like, I'm pretty sure my dad knew Denny, and then yeah, he knew like the owners because he would always talk to them all the time. But then after he passed, like, we kind of stopped going there. But now, like, for his birthday and stuff, like, my mom will take us to go eat there.
And you get the beef noodle soup? What else do you get there?
I like the onion pancake and the pan fried dumplings. Yeah.
Yeah, that place is good.
Yeah.
And what's the third place?
Third place is it's called SK Taekwondo. It's in Temple City on Las Tunas, and I guess that's where I developed like a lot of like my good character traits as well as from my mom. But I think starting there, I think I started when I was like 4 years old. They were the only place that would take someone as young as me, and then I just learned like the basics, like discipline, integrity, being humble, and I was able to get my black belt there. Yeah.
Wow. So you're also a black belt in addition to all those other accolades.
Yeah, but I'm kind of out of practice now.
Wow. Well, you had a busy schedule.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Awesome. Thanks for sharing those. Okay. Sarah, what about you?
My top would definitely be my grandma's house. The reason why me and my cousins are all so close, I have like 15 cousins on my grandma's side because my mom has 7 siblings. She's the second to youngest. She's the 7th. So like when I was younger, not really much now, every weeknight, all my cousins, everyone would just go there and eat dinner. Like my grandma would cook every night and we would eat there. So I think that's the reason why like my family on my mom's side especially is like so close knit because we grew up together. Like everyone lives in Monterey Park within like a 5-mile radius of each other. So I think that's why we're so close, and that's what I'm gonna carry on with me, like learning how to like build a family together.
That's so special.
Yeah.
That's so awesome. Wow. Did all of the cousins ever go to your game? And they're like your crazy like cheering section?
The most recent one I remember is senior night. Everyone came. They all had T-shirts with like my face on it. Like when they said my name, they went crazy. I think that's just how my family is. They're super loud and obnoxious at like big events, like graduations. They're crazy.
How awesome. That must have been so awesome. What a memory for you. Yeah. Wow.
And then I guess my second one would be Barnes Park Gym, or just Barnes Park in general. Like in the summer, even like to this day, in the morning when I have nothing to do, like my grandma would walk across and do Tai Chi with them. And like I would go with her, and like just seeing like all her friends and like how she lights up talking about her grandkids. It's like super awesome. And like even the gym, that's where I kind of started playing basketball. I started playing there and like the Almont League in Chinatown. But every like night before I went to my grandma's house, because it's like really close, my dad and we would go there and I would just practice shooting or dribbling or like just run and like run around the softball field with him. So that's like where I kind of developed my craft, if you would say. And the third one, I would maybe like the hat. I don't know what street it's on, but on Atlantic, I think. Near
Riggin?
Elac?
Yeah.
Atlantic and Riggin?
I think
that
so.
one.
Okay. Yeah, I think just after a long practice, because we used to practice in LA until like 7 or 8 at night. So I wouldn't have dinner before that. And then after like a really hard practice, my dad would take me there and we would just eat dinner there.
What did you get there?
I think just chili fries.
Oh, your dad was cool, man. He let you just eat chili fries for dinner? Wow. Okay. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. Thank you both for coming on the show and sharing your story and experience with us and with our audience. It was really a thrill for me to hear, and especially because I went to Keppel and to hear from your perspective. I'm glad that it's like cemented here in a way that you guys can have forever and it can be shared for generations to come. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Well, there you go. Another episode in the books for you. I really enjoyed that episode. I hope that you did. It's so nice to hear from the community, but especially the younger generation. I never want to be an old guy who's like, oh, your generation is whatever negative comment, because I truly believe that every generation should and is going to be better than the one before them. Otherwise, where are we going? Where is our society going? So I do expect that my children will exceed me, and it was really great to see just what this next generation is all about here in the San Gabriel Valley. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing. And if you want to support the show in a more meaningful way, please become a patron on Patreon, MySGV Podcast. You can see our full back catalog of episodes on our website, mysgv.net. And until next week, we'll see you then. Thank you for joining us on the MySGV podcast. Check out more of our content on our website, mysgv.net. This show was produced by Scott Wormuth, directed by Russell Mano, edited by Victoria Allers, and original music by Yone OG. If you'd like to join us next week as we capture and share more stories from our diverse community, feel welcome.
Nice mother. No, kind of mother.